is ABCD, the first part of it, we have come out very clearly and said we will be raising a preliminary objection. And I would like to prosecute that preliminary objection and collaterally respond to the preliminary issue raised by my colleagues. In that preliminary objections, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have made reference to your I've made reference to the third schedule, being your rules of procedure on impeachment, and those rules state to the effect that I have particular reference to Rule 14, Rule 20, and Rule 30. Rule 14 says any preliminary question or issue raised by the County Assembly or by the Governor shall be argued, and so on. And then at Rule 20, which is where I really want to place a lot of investment on, Rule 20. Rule 20 states, in presenting its evidence, the Assembly shall not introduce any new evidence that was not part of the allegations against the Governor by the County Assembly as forwarded by the Speaker of the County Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate. Now, honorable members, that section creates three thresholds. The first one is that it targets the County Assembly. It doesn't target the subject of the impeachment. It doesn't say Governor or Deputy Governor cannot introduce new evidence. It says the Assembly shall not introduce new evidence. I pray, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the new evidence introduced to this Assembly by the county after the close of the proceedings of the 29 be expunged from the record, and we limit our case to what was presented to the Assembly. So the first issue is that it is a prohibition on the Assembly. Number two is that it prohibits new evidence. Number three is that it prohibits new allegations. And number four is that the limit is what were the conversation between the Speaker of the County Assembly and the Senate Speaker. Now, for purposes of determining that preliminary objection, we would be making reference to the letter dated 1st March 2023, being the letter written by the Speaker of the County Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate. And in that letter, at page 7 to page 8, they have listed the items that the Honorable Speaker read at the start of these proceedings, being the notice of motion, votes, and proceedings, the order paper, and so on and so forth. However, when the letter was being written to the Deputy Governor, asking him to defend himself by a letter dated 8th of March, the contents of what the Speaker of Kisii County Assembly had forwarded to the Senate was changed completely. We have a new case completely. In the new document page, it has 3 pages. They have introduced the other one has about 20 documents. Even document number 20 is excluded. This new one has 24 documents. And if we are being faithful to the wording of that Rule 20, that there should be no new allegations, there should be no new evidence, and it should be limited to what the speakers communicated between themselves. Then this letter written by your staff member, Directorate of Legal Services, is a scenario where your staff is now changing the case that the Speaker of the Senate is aware of to another case altogether different. He now tells us we need to respond to issues of a video, a flash disk brought from Jen Bonareri, Mushe Samba, James Orenge, David Obiri, Che Mombasa, Fred Anyona. It asks us to also to respond to a report of public participation, which we have never seen. We are seeing it for the first time. We are looking at those flash disks for the first time as we come before you. It asks us to respond to contentions from David Akai. It asks us to respond to Gladys Aminga. And we are saying all these things were not part of what was in the in the county assembly and what we responded to. And so, Mr. Speaker, sir, members of the assembly, we will be praying that you make a determination of the very substantive issues to this effect. Number one, whether a case that was determined at the county assembly can mutate so that by the time it is reaching here, it is a different case from what was at the county assembly, or you receive it as an escalation and limited to what was done at the county assembly. And whether you have original jurisdiction then to entertain a question of impeachment. Because in the flash, it is alleged that the deputy governor received some money, 20,000 from this person, 5,000 from this person, and that's not a case we have had an opportunity to respond to. The gentleman by the name Akai, who against whom the summons are being asked, is being asked to produce the summons, says, I was told by the ward administrator that this happens. Hearsay, first of all. But the second thing is, it is not an issue that we had an opportunity to respond to. And for those reasons, then, we pray that the new evidence introduced be expunged, and we have particular reference to the contents of paragraph 14, paragraph 22, paragraph 23, paragraph 24, and paragraph 25 of the letter from your Directorate of Legal Affairs, which changes the case from what the Speaker said. Now, in that same letter, the Directorate of Legal Affairs also says that please also find a letter from Mr. Ndegwa, which now brings new case. And we are saying, what is the wording of that Rule 20? It says what the Speaker communicated to the other one. When did Ndegwa become...
Counsel, that letter you're referring to?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, oh, sorry. Actually, that one I can show
contained in a volume?
Yes, may I show you who?
Kindly direct the honorable senators to the volume and to the page.
Yes, it is the County Assembly's bundle, volume 1, page 336, please. 336. Yes, 300, sorry, it's 335. It's the last page, actually. It's practically the last page on the bundle, this bundle here, volume 1. And honorable members, even as you look at that letter, please allow me, I know you might not have this letter which was written to Dr. Monda telling him to come and defend himself, but allow me to just read the first paragraph. It says this: the Speaker of the Senate on 2nd of March 2024 received communication dated 1st March 2024, together with a bundle of documents, stock records, from the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kisii for removal from office of the Deputy Governor of Kisii, Dr. Monda, for impeachment. And then it is listed. Now, when you go to the second page of that document, then it says, sorry, it is in the first page. Item number 1, it says, a letter dated 1st of April. No, sorry, this one you do not, I'm just referring to the letter that was written to the Deputy Governor, telling him to defend himself. And I'm saying in that letter, the writer of that letter from your Department of Legal Affairs introduces things that the Speaker of Kisii had not said anywhere. And amongst them is the letter from Ndegwa. And in that letter of Ndegwa now, we are meeting it in this assembly for the first time. They are saying a fair copy of an affidavit from Dennis. That we never saw. I'm looking at page 335 now.
Yes, what is the issue, Senator Kavindu?
I thought what is taking us through, we should be having copies so that we can follow with him. Because it's taking us through the process so that we can give a ruling. We should have the documents that is taking us through, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, Honorable Senator. Counsel, yes. Again, kindly, yes, as you make your opening statement, if you're referring to a document.
Honorable members, I'm referring to page 3.
To the volume and to the page.
Yes, it is volume 1 of the Assembly's document. It is practically the last page. However, unfortunately, I have to cross-reference it to the letter that was written to Dr. Monda, telling him to come and defend himself.
So that letter
is dated
to Dr. Monda is contained in a different volume? Oh, it's not within your bundle of documents?
It is not in any of the bundles, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So can it be circulated, clerk? That's a document from the Senate, so can copies be done and
yes,
circulate? Yes, according to council, it emanated from the council.
Yes, it emanated from the Senate.
It emanated from the Senate.
And it is a letter directly responding to the letter from the County Assembly forwarding the material that was used to impeach the Deputy Governor. And honorable members, all I'm saying is under the Rule 20, it says this. The case of the County Assembly shall not change in terms of evidence and shall not change in terms of allegations and will be limited to what the County Assembly Speaker communicated to the Speaker of the Senate. That is the scope of the law. That's Rule 20. Now, in this letter then from the Senate, which is a response notifying us to come and defend ourselves, it immediately changes what the Speaker from the County Assembly had done and introduces new evidence, which begs the question, who intervened and introduced new evidence? And one of them is the letter from Laywer dated, which is the one I'm talking about at page 335. In that, this is what we are being asked. A fair copy of the affidavit of Dennis Misiati. I'm looking at paragraph 3, honorable members. It says, a fair copy of the affidavit of Dennis Misiati, a flash disk containing video clips emanating from public participation, including the one I told you about Masimba. 3, an affidavit of Orenga Yenda saying I was manipulated on a land sale agreement, and 2 crucial protected witnesses. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the preliminary objection we are saying is expunge everything that was not communicated to you by the Speaker of the County Assembly as prescribed by Rule 20. Let the case be limited to the 5 counts plus what Benson says and exclude everything else that was not part of it, which is what I've just referred to, being those paragraph 14, 22, 23, 24, and 25 of the letter from your Directorate of Legal Affairs. I would just want to close by saying this, that if you constrained us to respond to some of these new things, including Agai, the flash disk, and all this, you will be taking away our constitutional rights under Article 47 and Article 50 for fair hearing. We are entitled to at least 3 days' notice at the assembly of the case we are supposed to face. We are seeing these things for the first time as we appear before you for purposes of defending ourselves. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to beg you to please just allow me another 10 minutes, my colleagues, to just say something very briefly in support of my preliminary objection and opening address. Council, very kindly, Mr. Speaker, sir.
5 minutes. 5.
Okay.
5.
I will ask Mr. Ochoki first, and then my colleague, and I hope my friend Honorable Gerard Kett won't mind.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members of the Senate, for record, my name is Wilkins Ochoki, part of the team representing the Deputy Governor Kisii. Honorable Speaker, what is before this Honorable House is not a motion that meets the threshold that will send the DG home. Allow me very respectfully refer to this as nothing more like what we see in the Chinese martial arts movies. It's all fiction, Honorable Speaker. And my senior, Katwa Kigen, has referred you to Standing Order 88 of this Honorable House, which pursuant to that is referred, pursuant to Standing Order 88, Honorable Speaker, Rule 20 of the Rules of Procedure for Hearing and Determination of the Removal of either Governor or Deputy Governor was created, and that rule, as my seniors very well addressed you on, does not allow the County Assembly to bring in new evidence. Because of time limit, Honorable Speaker, allow me just say that what the County Assembly is doing is nothing more than a fishing expedition. The Hansard is clear that upon the Speaker of the County Assembly being asked whether the public participation documents are going to be used in the proceedings of the County Assembly, he was clear that there was nothing at all that was being used. Now you are being told that there are video clips that have been brought, witness statements that were not there. So, Honorable Speaker, Speaker, I'll respectively just submit that the same ought to be disregarded. There was an application by my learned brothers that you expunge part of the affidavit of the Honorable Deputy Governor. Honorable Speaker, you'll notice that from precedent, this House has allowed governors and deputy governors that did not defend themselves in the county assemblies come here and defend themselves. In any case, the House needs to know the genesis of the problems in Kisii. What exactly is on trial? Because it's not common that the honorable members of the county assembly can wake one morning and determine that a deputy governor that was elected should just go home. So what we want to bring out, Honorable Speaker, is the genesis of the problem. And very briefly, Honorable Speaker, allow me just address preliminary point 2, because my senior, Mr. Kigen, has addressed 1 within a minute. Honorable Speaker, you'll notice, and the Honorable Deputy Governor agrees that Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order 60 to 64 of the Kisii County Assembly Standing Orders allow for the impeachment of a governor and a deputy governor. But there are clear timelines that are provided. You will notice, Honorable Speaker, that in the County Assembly of Kisii, and I'll refer the Honorable House to page 5 of the document titled DG. You'll notice, Honorable Speaker, that at page 5 of that document of the bundle titled DG, there is a document titled Notice of Motion that is dated the 13th of February 2024. That document was the motion that was brought to the House by the Honorable Wycliffe Siocha. Somehow it mutated, and by the time it was being brought again to the House on 21st of February, we now had another document which starts at page 6 of that document titled DG. So that you'll get, Honorable Speaker, that the Deputy Governor was defending himself on 2 documents dated 2 different dates, and even then, based on the document in page 5 of the document that was received in the County Assembly on 13th of February, Honorable Speaker, the Standing Order 60 to 64 provides that that motion ought to have been heard within 10 days, whereas we do not want to bring up substantial or procedural issues in this House, but you will consider and look at the timelines within which the County Assembly sat, and you will notice that they sat or determined that motion beyond the 10 days that is provided for in the Senate. And as we will explain, and you will notice that this is beyond the character of the DG. This is all politics. It's all about the hard questions, the tough questions that the DG is asking, that we promise to deliver to the people of Kisii County. We are not delivering. And upon asking those very simple questions, he is now being brought to you, and you are being told, send him home. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Allow us very, very kindly, because I believe it didn't take a lot of time, just bring Honorable Osoro, who's our colleague, to take 2 minutes only, just to finish up and give a final brief on our opening remarks, kindly.
Senator Chirange, what is your intervention?